How about romantic love? I mean, men sing about romance. Women sing about romance. Romantic love, but I ask you something. Do we ever stop to think of the God of the Christian Bible in that role of love? That He loves like a man loves a woman. A love where He would be willing as a knight on a white horse to conquer and slay dragons, to rescue a princess, to bring her to His arms. We have talked about the love of the Creator for the creation, or the Father for the Son, but we do not understand the greatest love story never told, that this God, the God of Israel, loves His bride. A romantic love. And we've not understood that. Our God, in this theatrical production that I'm going to be presenting to you, is cast in love. And do you not think He does not know and has not played this role as a man who loves a woman? Well, one whole book of the Bible is just about that type of love. You know that? It's called the Song of Songs, or the Song of Solomon. Turn there if you will. I remember in my Bible college days, in the class entitled Old Testament Poetry, a comment that my instructor made about the Song of Songs. Now, it was an interesting comment to me because my instructor, this particular instructor for this class, was a great preacher in his day. He had greater ability than Billy Sunday. In fact, he had been offered to become a great national famed evangelist if he had been willing to compromise, and he wasn't. He was an old man when he was teaching in Bible college, and he loved the Bible, and he considered the Bible inspired from cover to cover, and sometimes, as he said, he wondered about the cover. But when it came to the Song of Solomon, I can remember in our Old Testament poetry class, he made some disparaging remarks about it. He really didn't appreciate it. And we didn't cover much on it, and I've always wondered, until I began to develop this theatrical production, why it was that this man would claim the Bible to be the inspired Word of God, and then take one book in the Bible and not really like it or have much good to say about it. Why? Because he did not know the greatest love story never told. He did not understand the love of God in this aspect of a man loving a woman. Once you understand that, the Song of Solomon, or the Song of Song, makes sense. Let's read portions of it and see if I'm not right as far as the book being about a man's love for a woman. Starting with verse 1 of chapter 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. May he kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. That's the way it starts off. She had, oh, kisses sweeter than wine. I told you there'd be music throughout this production. I'm not so sure that this man didn't find some of the words of that song, honeycomb, right here from the Song of Solomon. Go over to chapter 4, verse 7. It says, you are altogether beautiful, my darling, and there is no blemish in you. Let's drop on down to verse 9. You have made my heart beat faster, my sister, my bride. You have made my heart beat faster with a single glance of your eyes, and with a single strand of your necklace. How beautiful is your love, my sister, my bride. How much better is your love than wine, and the fragrance of your oils than all of the spices. Your lips, my bride, drip honey. Honey and milk are under your tongue, and the fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. Let's go over to chapter 7. It gets better. Verse 1. How beautiful are your feet in sandals, O princess daughter! The curves of your hips are like jewels, the work of the hands of an artist. Your navel is like a round goblet, which never lacks mixed wine. Your belly is like a heap of wheat. You know, I tried that on my wife. It didn't work as well as it did for Solomon. Your belly is like a heap of wheat. fenced about with lilies. You know, I'll stop there a second. Maybe you know this for a fact that it's a fact. I told it a long time ago in my tape ministry, but when my wife and I were first married, I wrote a poem to her. And the poem said, what your love means to me, like slop to a hog and a bone to a dog, so is your love to me. Well, if you ever slopped hogs, you can understand the feeling I was expressing there. Now, she didn't understand it. But I think this heap of wheat thing is in the same category. But seriously, you must remember this was an agrarian society. And they worked hard and long to bring in that harvest. And when you spent your whole life and your whole year trying to get in that harvest and your life depended on it, I tell you what, a pile of wheat was a beautiful sight in those days, just to make it clear as to what he's talking about here. In verse 3, your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle. Your neck is like the tower of ivory. Your eyes like the pool of Heshbon. By the gate of Bath Rabbin, your nose is like the tower of Lebanon. I wouldn't recommend that one either. Okay? Dropping on down to verse 6, it says, how beautiful and how delightful you are, my love, with all your charms. Your stature is like a palm tree, and your breasts are like its clusters. I said, I will climb the palm tree, and I will take hold of its fruit stalks. Oh, may your breasts be like clusters of the vine, and the fragrance of your breath like apples. I just read portions of this to give you an understanding that the God of the Christian Bible is a romantic. And this is a romantic story that I'm going to be talking about. Could it be that our God has such a love for His bride, His woman, His wife, but we've never grasped it? We've never related His love as that of a husband for his wife, so let me introduce the characters in this theatrical production. Turn over to Jeremiah chapter 31. And there we read verse 31 and 32. Quote, behold, days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not like the covenant which I made with their fathers in the day I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. My covenant which they broke, although I was a husband to them, declares the Lord. End of quote. So there is the setting. The bride, first of all, I shall bring to the scene, to the stage, here called the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Whoa. If any of you here or anyone listening to this sometime in the future have all of a sudden switched channels, I say, come back to me. I did not say the bride was the Jew or the Jews. It doesn't say anything about Jews here. That's the movie that's playing in all the other movie houses. This is the greatest love story never told. And here we see that the bride was the house of Israel and the house of Judah. The groom, the husband, was the God of Israel. So now that I've brought before you the theme of this production and the two main characters, let's begin. But the question is, where do you begin? Most stories begin with once upon a time. They simply begin at the beginning. But I'm going to begin this theatrical production at another spot, a place where another very famous love story ends. That love story being the story called Gone with the Wind. Surely you remember that scene, the final scene in Gone with the Wind. The wife, Scarlett, is standing at the door. The wife who never really appreciated her husband. The wife who never really appreciated what she had. The wife who really never even liked her husband. The wife who always seemed to love someone else. She stands at the door, an open door through which her husband will walk out and exit out of her life. And she says something to the effect, oh heavens, Rhett, whatever will I do? And Rhett turns to her and says, Scarlett, frankly, my dear, I don't give a darn anymore. I said it was R-rated, but isn't that the scene?